It's Friday, August 2nd, 2019. I want to get right into today's video. There are a few things that I was reading today that really drew my concern, and I want to go over that. We continue to see massive red flags, warning signs that this economy is heading into a full-blown recession. I believe it's already begun. But I want to go over a few articles today that I think are going to reinforce my beliefs. Please comment down below. Let me know what you think. But there's a few things that really stand out. I want to share them with you and get your thoughts on this. We have bond yields plummeting right now as people are starting to get very worried. They're running to cash and they're running to bonds. 10-year bond yield. I just looked at this 30 minutes ago. A 10-year bond yield is at 1.84%. This is not even keeping up with inflation. Now, as we witness bond yields plummeting, that's a red flag, a warning sign. People are getting nervous. But another warning sign we have is this inverted yield curve. We have the 3-month at 2.06 inverted with the 2-year at 1.71. It's inverted with the 5-year at 1.66, and it's inverted with the 10-year at 1.84. The 30-year is at 2.37, while the 3-month is at 2.06. How long till we see the 3-month and the 30-year inverted? It's not that far off. So two real critical warning signs here: inverted yield curve, which has been inverted for quite a while now, bond yield 10-year at 1.84%. You are literally losing money. People are so worried now that they're running to areas of safety, and they're running to bonds, and they are willing to lose money just to be safe. Again, this is why I'm a proponent of gold and silver. I would much rather be in precious metals than a bond that is losing money. Gold and silver may not produce interest, but a zero is better than losing money. Holding a hard tangible asset in your hands, to me, is much better than holding a piece of paper that is costing you money. So we're going to continue to watch that and see how that plays out. More bad news. This is just going to reinforce. Please comment down below about how you're interpreting this economy. Is it been positive? How are you doing in this economy? Or is it negative? Everybody I've spoken to in person, friends, a lot of people are very, very worried, and everything I'm reading, 99% of it is quite negative. This is on wolfstreet.com. Construction spending, residential and non-residential, private and public, fell 2.1%. From June of last year. So from June of last year to June this year, construction spending, residential and non-residential, private and public, is down 2.1%. Construction spending has fallen on a year-over-year basis in 4 of the last 5 months. So I don't understand how they can continue to sell us on this record booming economy. What's the need for these aggressive rate cuts if we're in a booming economy, if we're in this expansion? Why are we running a $1.5 trillion deficit during this expansion? Why are we raising the debt ceiling if we're in this incredible expansion, if we're in this incredible economy with record low unemployment, wage growth, and a record high stock market? Why are we running all this debt and deficits, and why are we cutting rates? Ask yourself just a simple question. I want to a paraphrase through another article that was on Zero Hedge today. Politicians over the last decade failed to use $33 trillion in liquidity injections, near 0% interest rates, and surging asset prices to refinance the welfare system, balance the budget, and build surpluses for the next downturn. Instead, they made the deficits worse, and the U.S. economy will enter the next recession pushing a $2 trillion deficit, $24 trillion in debt, and a $6 trillion pension gap, which will devastate many in the retirement years. This is what is coming to America, and it is not going to be stopped. And in fact, it's going to continue to snowball and be even worse than what we're reading right now. Multiple job holders soar. This is on Zero Hedge also. Multiple job holders soar to record high as old Americans can't afford to retire. Multiple job holders are people that have more than one job, maybe two, maybe three jobs just to make ends meet. Many people call it the side hustle. You got a job and a side hustle or two side hustles. May of 2019, 7.85 million Americans had a second and third job. In June, 8.15 million Americans had more than one job. And in July, that number rose to 8.38 million Americans having more than one job. You know, we just got the job numbers the other day. They were okay. But just think about how many of these new jobs are just going to be taken by people who already have a job, and now they're going to have a second job. So all these new jobs don't have new job holders. Many of them are going to have old job holders who need a second or third job. So a lot of this job creation is just going to people who already have a job. So this is just really nuts. Reuters today, U.S. hiring cools. Manufacturers reduce hours for workers. According to the Reuters article, the economy is cooling. U.S. job growth slowed in July, and manufacturers have slashed hours for workers. Average work week in the U.S. is down to 34.3 hours. This is the fewest amount of hours since September 2017, where it was 34.4 hours. More bad news in this expansion, in this record booming economy. Many of you have probably already seen this news. Lowe's is laying off thousands of workers. Lowe's closed 47 stores last year. CEO Marvin Ellison is going to cut costs aggressively after the company lowered its profit target for 2019. Many of these jobs are going to be in assembly and janitorial services. Just not good news. So there's going to be thousands of people here in America that are going to be unemployed very soon. Another article on Zero Hedge today. Banks love non-sufficient funds. America's poverty trap. How a small financial setback can spiral into inescapable disaster. And this is why in the article it says that banks love insufficient funds and overdraft fees, because Americans paid $34 billion in fees for not having enough money to cover a payment last year. $34 billion a year. I mean, who really are the thieves here? It's the banks. It always seems like it's the little guy that gets taken advantage of here in America. When we look at these overdraft fees, we look at the late charges, we look at the cost for servicing a bank account, a checking account, a savings account. We look at fees to just have our phones connected, our cable connected. Everything is a fee. And when we look at the average American not even having $400 saved up, and what happens when that direct deposit is a little bit late and you wrote the rent or you paid the gas bill, the electric bill, the cable bill, and your direct deposit didn't come in time, not your fault, or there was some kind of glitch. And so now, no matter whose fault it is, you have a $50 or $70 overdraft charge or some late charge, or now your cable got shut off, or your gas got shut off. Now, not only are you going to pay the late fee or the late charge by the gas company, the cable company, what have you, now you're paying the overdraft fee with the bank. And now you're also going to have to pay the reconnection fee to have your cable turned back on, have your gas turned back on, your electric, what have you. So there's all these fees: connection fees, reconnection fees, late fees, overdraft, services, taxes. It goes on and on and on. And when we look at the amount of people in America that don't even have $400 saved up and the amount of people that have zero money saved up, these are the same people that I'm so concerned about, because they think that, they can never be on the streets. They look at those people in tent cities. They look at people sleeping on sidewalks, sleeping under highway overpasses, and they think that could never be them. How do you think that could never be you if you have $100 and yet you have these entities with all these charges, late fees, overdrafts, I mean, it is. I mean, literally, people are playing Russian roulette here. I mean, we're witnessing a ticking time bomb right here because people cannot afford this. I mean, they are just being strangled on a daily basis. Everything is taxed, everything has charges, everything has fees. And it just seems like the average American is having a harder and harder time just getting ahead. So, very interesting when you really break it down and think about it. We're just being charged for everything. Look at your phone bill, look at your cable bill, all these charges. And again, if you're late for anything, and certainly don't be late paying the taxes on your house, your property taxes, because in so many states, they're coming right after you, coming right after your property. I want to switch gears real quickly here, and I want to spend a few minutes. I want to talk about the importance of precious metals. Specifically, right now, I want to talk about gold. Gold generates no cash, grows no crops, provides no shelter, and supplies no useful service, and has not been money for decades. But it's funny how the price of gold continues to go up. We're told that there's no inflation. We're told that there's no economic distress, that the U.S. economy is growing at 2.1% a year, and there's no financial panic. Stock market is rising. Wall Street is hitting new highs, yet gold continues to go up more than 11% in the past 2 months, and it's up more than 15% in the last year. Some of America's biggest political rivals are stockpiling gold. That would be Russia and China. China wants to break up the world dependence on the US dollar. The People's Bank of China hiked its gold reserves by 74 tons in the 6 months through May. The Russian central bank has bought 96 tons of gold in the first half of the year. China wants to make its own currency a world player. Gold reserves add confidence in this Chinese currency, and they're going to continue to keep stockpiling it. Who cares if gold doesn't pay interest? We have $14 trillion in negative yielding debt. 0% looks better than negative rates. So just a little food for thought there in closing. There is just so much uncertainty politically, socially, and financially across the globe and right here in America. And I'm going to leave everybody with this on this beautiful Friday afternoon. You know, don't trust everything that you're reading and watching on the television. Remember, most of these business analysts work for these huge financial institutions that are now suckering people, to the poker table to gamble everything they have. The lower these rates go, the more beating the middle class is going to take. You're being punished for saving money. They're prompting you and forcing you to gamble your money, your life savings, because people now cannot save money and be rewarded. People used to be rewarded for saving money. People used to live off their savings because they earned good interest. Now they're forcing you to that poker table to gamble everything you have. And this is just so dangerous. Rates are going to zero and probably beyond. And the middle class, the saver, is going to be punished. And the people who are gambling in these markets, the people who have put faith in paper, are going to pay the ultimate price. I believe we're going to really witness historical economic events unfold here in America, which in return are going to trigger social events here in America that are going to be very, very chaotic and dangerous. So, be very careful with what you're doing. It's good to save. I think that we all should have a decent amount of cash saved because cash, I believe the US dollar is going to be the last currency to go down. And then after that, everybody's on their own. And the two most undervalued assets in the world right now, gold and silver, I believe are the only two places to be. I'm not a financial planner or advisor. I'm just telling you what I'm doing, what I believe in. Comment down below. Let me know where you are putting money, where you think a good place to be putting money is. A lot of people can come out and they can, criticize other people and judge other people, but they never have any answers. So It may be cryptocurrencies. I know there's a lot of people out there that believe in cryptocurrencies, but I'm a bit old school. I just want to hold it. I want to know where it's at. I want to be able to get to it. I don't want to put any trust in a computer or the grid, electricity. I'm concerned about cyber attacks, hacking, and what have you. So I'm going to be very old school here, and I want to hold it, and I want to know where it's at. I want to be able to get to it in a moment's notice. So that's how I think. I'm not knocking anybody cryptocurrencies. I'm sure they have their place. But again, I want something with a 5,000 year history. I want something that's hard, tangible, and I want something that the Chinese and the Russians believe is the future, and that is gold and silver. Gold and silver have the history, and we're looking at every central bank stockpiling it, and we're looking at some of the biggest nations in the world hoarding it. So there is a huge importance to this money, and on top of that, we all know it's God's money. So again, I believe it's gold and silver are the two most important hard assets that you could have, and I believe that they're going to be the best insurance for your financial future. So I'm going to leave it right there. Again, comment down below. Where do you think a good place is to be right now? Where is a good place to put money? Is it cash? Should we just be saving cash? Is it cryptocurrencies? Is it gold, silver? Is it foreign currencies? Where do you believe is the safest place to be right now with your money? Comment down below. Let me know. Have an incredible weekend. God bless every one of you, and we will talk very soon.